What up? So I'm currently waiting for a bunch of film rolls to come back from the lab with hopefully some very cool stuff on it that I can make videos about. But whilst I'm waiting, I'm kind of in this little weird limbo where I thought I would clean the office, and then I started cleaning the office and then remembered how much I hate cleaning the office. So now, in the name of procrastination, I'm going to show you my film camera collection because it's better than cleaning. So this video is going to be all about my current film camera collection. I say current because if there's one thing we're good at as photographers, it's buying shit we don't need. So it's kind of constantly changing, innit? But yeah, these are the film cameras that I currently have in my possession that I use for like work and like traveling or whatever. And we're just going to bang through them one by one, and then I'll tell you whether I regret buying it or not as well, because there's some in here that I really think you shouldn't buy. All right, so let's do point and shoots first. Anyway, first camera. Okay, so let's start off with a cool obscure one. So this is an Agfa Sensor 335. This thing is tiny. It's such a sick little camera. One of the smallest cameras that I own. It's very, very cool. Has a lot of quirks. It's got a massive viewfinder, which is pretty cool. But some genius thought that they would hide the battery compartment right where the film is, in the back. So you have to open the back of this camera to change batteries. So if you've got a roll of film in there, you can kiss goodbye to a couple of those delicious frames, my friend. Because yeah, you've got to pop the back to change the batteries. So quite weird, but really like this. It's got a 40mm lens in it, if I remember correctly. And it's zone focus. Love that it's zone focus. I bought this after I fell in love with a Contax 17. I wanted to try like a full frame version of the whole zone focus thing, and this is what I picked up. So yeah, Agfa Sensor 335, super cheap as well. Please don't go and buy all of them. I would like some for myself, thanks. Got a gnarly little flash as well. I just love how that looks. Like, that looks utterly unhinged. I love it. All right, we got an Olympus Mute 2. Hate it. Don't buy one. Overpriced. Autofocus is not very good. The lens is stellar. I joke when I say I hate it. I've used it a couple of times, and every time I use it, I fall more and more out of love with it. No, it's not for me. Not at like 300 quid either. Just don't buy one of these for like 300 quid. The lens is sick, but also no. Here it is, the Contax 17. Love this camera. Probably one of my favorite daily carry cameras of all time. Love it. A lot of people talk shit about it. They are idiots. This is a sick camera. Anyone ragging on this camera has a very small PP. End of story. It is sick. Zone focus, sick. Half frame, sick. The slow shutter flash thing so you can get the shutter draggy photos, sick. It's £500, not sick, but it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. This is one of those cameras that if you're not sure whether you want one or not, try it and I bet you'll like it. It eats batteries very quickly. That's the downside I can think of right now. All right, next up we have the Canon SureShot A1. Insane camera, absolutely insane camera. This is one of those cameras that, like, if I'm traveling, this is usually in my camera bag. It's waterproof. This one will go underwater and everything. The lens is insanely sharp. Autofocus is banging on it. The flash is sick. It's slightly wider than a typical, it's 32mm, I think. Yeah, 32mm, so it's slightly wider than like your typical point and shoot lens. It has that whole like Fisher Price vibe going on, but I think it looks cool. Genuinely one of the best compact point and shoots I think you can buy, to be honest. I don't see a time where I don't own one of these. No regretty buying this one, let me tell you. Very big regretty buying this one. All right, next up we have the Kodak M35. This is one of those cameras that I talked a lot of shit about and then absolutely fell in love with, which is awkward. I was ruthlessly mean about this camera and then it turned out I was totally wrong. Love it because it feels so flimsy. I just thought it was going to fall apart, but I have battered the absolute shit out of this camera and it's still going strong. The flash is wonky. I think I finally knocked the flash out of position, but this has survived multiple trips, like multiple flights, but it's got that really sick lo-fi disposable camera look to it, except you can pick what film goes in, which is really cool because when I'm using this I quite like the underexposed sort of film look. So I really like Kodak Pro Image 100 in this, and then just pulling way too much back out of the scans, and it makes it look so dirty and horrible, but in that really delicious way. I bought it for like 25 quid. No regrets buying this one. I've had so much mileage out of this. It's very good. Okay, next up we have the Fujifilm DL15. So it's called DL15 because it has a drop loading mechanism in it. Very sick. But I came across this whilst I was rooting through like the back of my local camera shop, just gathering up old film stuff that I was going to buy, they were like, there's a bunch of shit in there, go have a look if you want it. And this caught my eye immediately because it's fixed focus. And so this is kind of like the Kodak M35 if you take one step up. The lens is super nice on this, but with it being fixed focus, you still get that disposable-y kind of look, but because the lens is nicer, it just looks a bit better. So you still got the filmy charm, but I trust this a little bit more, if you know what I mean. So this kind of bridges the gap a little bit. But yeah, I love this. Killer flash on it. One of the things with point and shoots, I think flashes are so important. I think a flash can make or break a point and shoot, and yeah, this has a killer flash on it. So dope. All right, next up we have a Minolta Weathermatic. I've never actually used this. I don't even know if it works. I don't trust the seal around the battery, but I'm going to give it a go. All in the name of a YouTube video. So if anyone has used this, please let me know in the comments what film I should use, please, because I've never used it. And it's kind of like Minolta's version of the Canon SureShot A1. So I'm really excited to use it. Oh, Minolta, you beautiful, beautiful bastards. Just making cameras that look like this. All right, next up we have the Nikon Lighttouch Zoom 100W. What a f***ing ridiculous name. Why is it? That's about like 5 words too many. Just give it a name. Stop being weird, Nikon. This is another camera that I've got a lot of mileage out of. It's got a zoomy boy lens. You know the ones, don't you? Which obviously means that some of the focal lengths do not look good at all. It kind of goes with the territory of the zoomy boy compact. But wild vignetting aside, and the fact that it takes the flash about 4 to 5 business days to refresh, this is still a really fun camera, and I've used it a lot because it will read DX codes up to 3200, so it's a really good sort of like gig camera, you know, because you can zoom in and out as well. Great for that disposable kind of look at concerts. All right, I think that about does it for point and shoots. There's one more that I've not shown you in this video because I've not made a video about it yet. I'm literally making the video right now, so yeah, you'll see that one soon, don't worry about it. Okay, let's talk about SLR cameras, and as we've just come from point and shoots, let's talk about what I think is one of the best point and shoots of all time, this SLR Minolta Dynax 3000i. I just made a video about this. I will leave a link to it at the end of this video if you want to go back and have a look. But basically, yeah, this is like an SLR point and shoot. Phenomenal. Plastic, fantastic, 90s. No one wants these cameras. It's crazy. They're so overpowered and nobody wants them. Next up, we have the Canon AE1. So this was the first film SLR that I ever bought. So this is a great SLR. Love this camera. Shot a lot of stuff on it that I really, really like. Great variety of lenses. Obviously, it's the FD mount, so literally flawless. You can control the aperture, shutter speed, all that stuff yourself, which is cool. You can learn the old exposure triangle or whatever the f it's called. Would you believe that I take photos for a living? Is it the exposure triangle? They always bang on about it in the courses. Those dickhead influencers are trying to sell you, don't they? As if like it's reinventing the f***ing wheel. We know, mate. Anyway, yeah, Canon AE1, very sick. I am actually going to be selling this, but only because I own the camera that I'm going to talk about next. So this is the Canon A1, same sort of dealio as the AE1, except I really, really prefer the viewfinder in this. I feel like it's much brighter. You can see loads more in it. I've got terrible eyesight. I'm like a mole in the sunlight. Like I'm literally squinting like this and I still can't see anything. Yeah, that slightly better viewfinder is enough for me to prefer this one. I also prefer the all black colorway. I know you can get the AE1 in black. I don't have it in black though, do I? So yeah, Canon A1, great camera. Took this out to the States for me last year. Had a sick time. When people think of like the pure film photography experience, something like the Canon A1, like these old school gnarly SLRs that feel nice and mechanical and tactile. This is what you think of when you think of the film photography experience, isn't it? You can smash a big old flash on top of it as well. Beautiful. No notes. Love this camera. Next up, we have the Minolta Dynax 7. So this is also an SLR, but it has autofocus. It's kind of the same thing as the Canon A1, except the modern version. Basically, you got your autofocus, all your double exposure-y stuff, your bracket in. It's got a screen. So sick. You can roll your focus point around on it like you're on a mirrorless camera. So ahead of its time. Like 1/8000 shutter speed. Bonkers shit like that. Stuff you're never gonna need, but it's cool to have. I think think I might have actually broken this properly this time. It took a tumble at my last shoot. I'm 50% sure I've got it on camera. I'll have to go back and check. But I had to make a decision. I went over a barrier whilst I was shooting a band. That whole story is going to get its own video. This is one of my favorite SLR cameras of all time. If I'm shooting for a client and they're like, we need to get the shot, this is the kind of thing that I'm going to be shooting on. This is like your modern film photography powerhouse. Minolta AF mount lenses, phenomenal. Sony A mount lenses, phenomenal. The glass you can get for this camera is absurd. I've got like a fisheye, telephoto, and everything in between. Bunch of primes. Love this so much. If you want like a camera that's just going to do everything and it's like an end game film camera, Minolta Dyne X7. Just buy one and be happy. That's the trajectory. Buy one, be happy. That's the only option. All right, finally, let's talk about medium format cameras. So the only one I currently own, I'm possibly about to own another one, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The one that I currently own is the Bronica SQA. This is my first medium format film camera. Love it. You get the square photos. Everything's modular, so if anything breaks in it, I can just swap out the broken part and keep the rest of the camera. The lenses are sick. I love the waist level viewfinder on this thing. Thing of beauty. This gives me the same sort of vibe as the Canon A1 in that like it feels like you're partaking in like pure photography. And I don't want to sound like Lucius Malfoy when I say that. I don't mean it in like an elitist way. I don't mean it in like a snobby way. I just mean that like if you want to engage with the photography, this is the kind of camera that I think makes you feel that sort of way. Like taking photos on this is not the same as pulling out your iPhone. Do you know what I mean? Absolute all-timer camera for me. But I'm thinking of picking up a Texas Leica. You know, the big old Fuji boys. You know the one. You know the one. Really tempted to pick one up. Mainly because A, it looks cool as shit. Let's not lie. Aesthetically, this is a vibe. I want it because it looks nice. But also, it's fully mechanical. So none of that faffing with batteries, lark. One of the things with shooting on old film cameras is like they just run through batteries so quick. Been on a really big trip and there's only so many batteries you can physically carry. And so the Fuji being like fully mechanical appeals to me big time right now. If you own one or you've had one, please let me know what your experience was like because yeah, I'm this close to buying one. There we have it. That is my current film camera collection. So that's as of June 2026. I think it'd be cool to do this annually to see what stays and what goes and all that sort of stuff. Ooh, I forgot one. I forgot two. Oh my god, I forgot two bangers. I forgot two really sick cameras. So this Canon AF35M Mark II. This is a sick camera. So good. This is another one that I've used a lot at like concerts and stuff. You can push the film to about 1,000, I think. I think it tops out about 1,000. Yeah, it does. I take this to like events a lot. So I shot ice hockey on this recently. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen that I shot my first ice hockey game on film recently. This was the camera that I used for that. And for like gigs and stuff, this is sick because it's the sort of thing you can put in like a little bag and you can get into most venues. If I'm there without a photo pass or I'm not shooting for a band or whatever, this is the kind of camera that I can just sort of put in a bag and security don't usually question it. It looks like a toy. They're not worried about you getting professional photos out of this. But yeah, these are sick. But I think these have gotten really expensive in recent years because people have realized that they are dope. Big fan of this. Been shooting it for years. And the other one that I missed, this is a Canon EOS Rebel G. So this is a super entry level SLR from Canon. You can pick this up for like a tenner on eBay and it is absurdly good. Same as the Minoltas. These plastic, fantastic little 90s SLRs. They're giving like dad on vacation in the 90s and I don't know why people are acting like that's a bad thing. Like they don't look as trendy as point and shoots. I know. If you're thinking of buying your first film camera, just look for a plastic film SLR, Canon or Minolta, and you're set. You're so set. You'll save an extreme amount of money. You can spend that on film and actually shoot more. And as you progress, you can buy better lenses, EF mount lenses, some of the best lenses on planet Earth. Ridiculously good and insanely cheap. All right, so there we have it. That is the collection as of June 2026. That is my film camera collection right now. I think it'd be cool to do this like annually so we could see what comes in and what goes out and see how how long I cling on to that Olympus Mute 2 before I remember to sell it. In next year's, I think I'll have bought the Texas Leica by then. I think I'll have bought it. For 35mm, I'm feeling pretty chill. There's not like massive amounts of things that I want really. I want to pick up the Kodak Snapic A1. That's on my list for sure. It's like £99. Feels like that could be the perfect like beginner, like first film camera, and it rips double exposures as well. So if there's one thing I love, it's an exposure that is double. If you've got any of these cameras, or you have any advice for anyone who might be thinking of picking up one of these cameras or whatever, drop it in the comments. And again, if there's any cameras you want to recommend to me, I always love hearing it. I've actually been making videos recently based on recommendations in the comments, which is really sick. So thank you for your recommendations. Keep them coming, you absolute legends. And yeah, let me know what's in your current film camera collection. Let me know in the comments. Always love a chat. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's good to see you. I hope you are well. Hope your family's well. Most importantly, I hope your dog is well. Please do provide your pooch with a little scratch behind the ears from me, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Peace.